Hey everyone, and welcome back to another explainer. In the crazy, fast-paced world of tech, where flashy new front-end frameworks seem to pop up literally every single day, there's actually a quiet giant that's still out there powering some of the most critical systems on the planet. I'm talking about JavaServer Faces. Today, we're going to unpack the enduring appeal of this true enterprise survivor and see exactly how it's managing to hold its ground. Let's get into it.
Okay, so here's a roadmap for the explainer today. First up, we'll look at the JSF survival mystery. Then we'll take a peek under the hood. After that, we'll cover why enterprises choose JSF, how it's facing modern front-end challenges, and finally, wrap up with the future of JSF.
All right, let's jump right into Section 1, the JSF survival mystery. Okay, let's really dive into this. The technology landscape moves incredibly fast, right? We are constantly told that if you aren't using the absolute newest, shiniest JavaScript library out there, your application is completely obsolete. Yet, somehow, against all those odds, JavaServer Faces has maintained its relevance. It is still supporting massive enterprise applications all across the globe. So, how on earth is a framework that was created back in the early 2000s still a foundational tool for developers today? Well, to solve this mystery, we first need to truly understand the sheer scale of its maturity.
20. That's the number of years JSF has existed within the Java Enterprise Edition ecosystem. Nearly 2 full decades. Now, to put that into perspective, in the software world, 20 years isn't just a long time, it's practically an eternity. But look, this isn't just about being old, it's about being battle-tested. 20 years means 2 decades of security patches, constant community feedback, resolving weird edge cases, and proving its stability in mission-critical applications. This deep maturity is really the bedrock of JSF's survival. But to genuinely grasp its staying power, we have to look at the actual mechanics of how it works.
Which brings us to Section 2, under the hood.
At the very core of JSF is something called component-based development. Think of it kind of like building a giant model out of Legos. Instead of coding complex web pages totally from scratch every single time, developers get to assemble these reusable, discrete software components. We're talking about things like a highly specific data grid, or maybe a customized user login module. Once you build them, these modular pieces just drop seamlessly into any project. This component-based paradigm is the absolute hallmark of JSF. It gives organizations incredible modularity, reusability, and, here's the real kicker, it drastically reduces maintenance overhead because you're just managing encapsulated components instead of untangling a massive web of code.
Now, bringing this Lego-like modular system to life requires a pretty robust set of features. Right out of the box, developers are equipped with rich, built-in UI components. We're talking buttons, text fields, complex tables, drastically cutting down on all that repetitive coding. But the real secret sauce here lies in its event handling. JSF uses an event-driven programming model that honestly feels highly reminiscent of traditional desktop software development. A user clicks a button and it triggers a precise action. It makes building dynamic web design feel super intuitive. And when you combine that with its seamless Java Enterprise Edition integration, meaning it taps directly into expression language and the Java Persistence API, alongside some seriously powerful templating support, well, the result is crystal clear. You've got an absolute powerhouse designed specifically for generating sophisticated user interfaces with minimal effort.
All right, moving on to Section 3, why enterprises choose JSF.
So the crucial point is this. Massive organizations do not choose their tech based on what's trending on social media. They choose what minimizes risk and maximizes efficiency. Like we talked about, 2 decades of real-world testing guarantees unparalleled stability and maturity for apps that literally cannot afford to fail. Add in a rich ecosystem of active, open-source tools that speed up development, and the appeal becomes pretty obvious. Furthermore, that seamless Java tech integration allows dev teams to immediately leverage their existing codebases. Toss in robust built-in security, support for incredibly rich user interfaces, and dedicated professional vendor support. And enterprises get absolute peace of mind knowing their critical systems are fully backed.
To really expand on the immense value of that integration, I want to highlight a thought from our research. It noted that enterprises often have existing investments in Java technologies, and JSF's seamless integration makes it a natural choice. Let's think about that. A large corporation might have literally millions of lines of proven back-end Java code. Rewriting that entire business logic just to support some new web interface? Yeah, that's an absolute non-starter. JSF elegantly solves this by allowing them to extend those massive, pre-existing back-end systems directly to the web, ensuring absolute consistency across their whole technology stack.
Let's shift gears to Section 4, facing modern front-end challenges. And this brilliantly illustrates the real battlefield today.
because we are looking at two completely different development philosophies. On the server side, JSF provides the secure, heavily integrated component architecture that primarily relies on server-side rendering. On the flip side, modern JavaScript frameworks, think React, Angular, Vue.js, they push the processing workload directly to the user's browser. This modern paradigm prioritizes highly dynamic, aggressively interactive, single-page applications. So while JSF totally dominates when deep back-end Java integration is the priority, modern JavaScript is often the go-to for client-heavy, instantaneous user experiences. It's not really a matter of which one is objectively better. It's entirely about picking the right tool for your specific architectural needs.
Finally, let's look ahead with Section 5, the future of JSF.
You know, far from just sitting still and gathering dust, this 20-year-old framework is actually evolving and mounting a pretty impressive comeback. It's executing 3 pivotal steps right now to maintain its territory. First, fully embracing modern standards. The latest versions of JSF offer total compatibility with HTML5 and CSS3, so applications look and behave exactly like contemporary websites. Next, a relentless focus on simplicity. By aggressively reducing that annoying boilerplate code, the community is making it significantly easier for new devs to pick up the framework, which boosts everyday productivity. And finally, robust interoperability. Rather than stubbornly fighting modern JavaScript paradigms, JSF is actively learning to integrate seamlessly right alongside them.
Let's move to and see how this builds in the real world. We can actually see this interoperability in action through a thriving community that's building massive open-source component libraries. Tools like Prime Faces, Rich Faces, and Ice Faces offer these huge catalogs of advanced UI components that dramatically push JSF's capabilities forward. Through these libraries, developers can effortlessly inject cutting-edge, highly dynamic features into their enterprise apps, all without abandoning the rock-solid security and stability of the core JSF framework. It's kind of the best of both worlds.
Now, I want to clear up a massive misconception. Actually, scratch that. It's almost an urban legend at this point. People often assume that because JSF is this older, enterprise-focused tool, it's only good for giant, clunky, monolithic applications. Surprisingly, no. It actually plays a vital role in modern microservices architectures. By serving as a robust front end for highly specific microservices, it integrates perfectly with modern RESTful APIs and other scalable Java EE technologies. Its adaptability in today's cloud landscape is genuinely impressive.
So as you look toward designing your next application, or maybe evaluating the tech stack of the organization you work for, a pretty critical question emerges. Is your modern architecture overlooking a proven enterprise giant? Look, JavaServer Faces might not generate the daily hype of a brand new JavaScript framework, but its component-based power, unmatched stability, and deep integration make it a formidable tool that is still actively evolving today. Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. Keep analyzing those tech stacks, and I'll catch you in the next one.